the drug problem, it made more work for you guys, just like it's making more work for everything else?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's because you got to, you try to develop some reasonable intelligence as to who's selling what, because, you're looking at who they are, who they hang out with. If you got drug packaging there, what group is selling it, what gang, what posse, what cartel, whatever the buzzword is this week, whatever organization, and it's just a lot of information out there, but you got to put it all together. I know DEA was always trying to put stuff together, but they're overwhelmed.
Yeah,
the city's a city. We've got joint task force in the city. We got everybody from DEA, state, the attorney generals, the FBI. Everybody's working on the same thing, but it's going to be an ongoing problem for a while.
Did you ever come across cases that were staged well to look like something they weren't?
I like to think not, but yeah, on occasion you did. Yeah, you get it's like the 5'2" woman who shoots herself in the mouth with a goose gun. A goose gun has an exceedingly long barrel. 5'2" woman has short arms. She's not going to be able to. The mechanics don't work. So you just gotta. It's just a lot of it's common sense.
But did you ever have anything where somebody, if things were changed just a little bit, they may have gotten away with something? Gene's off today, somebody else is on, or it's a holiday. The old joke about the holiday weekend,
Yeah, if somebody got sloppy, yeah, you could get away with it. But I would hope that we because you have somebody who does the initial scene. The body comes in. It's going to be looked at by one of our doctors. Hopefully, between those two sets, do we have differences of opinion? Yeah. Sometimes I would say it was a gunshot. They would say it was a stab. When I showed them, here's the shell casings, and when they did the x-rays, they said, oh, he is a gunshot wound. Or vice versa. It could be either way. Because, until it's all, like I say, until the fat lady sings, you don't know what's going on. So until everything's done, you don't know. Our biggest problem was probably with toxicology. People would, you have all sorts of drugs out there. All sorts of combinations of drugs.
Why does toxicology reports, why do they still, DNA, take so long to get back? Is it quantity or procedure?
Both.
Okay.
Both. Everybody wants to submit everything for DNA analysis.
Yeah.
Whether it's a shell casing, whether it's a fragment found in a body, everybody thinks, rely on science, that way I don't have to do any work. That's like, you see TV like, well, there's no video here, we're never going to solve this.
Yeah.
Duh. How about the old-fashioned knocking on doors?
Knocking on doors and talking to people.
And going out to the same neighborhood 3 and 4 times, going out at 4 o'clock in the morning as opposed to 4 o'clock in the afternoon. That's sort of common sense stuff.
But they don't do that, and I don't think any one way is right. I don't think just video, just science, or just talking. I think it's a combination that makes it work.
One of my last jobs I had involved a man who was a day laborer. He hung outside a Home Depot looking for work every day. This one day he gets involved in an altercation with another guy hanging out there, and he winds up going to the hospital where he died a week later from head injuries. We don't get notified for the week. It's not risen to our level. All right, now we got a John Doe, if you will, and we're trying to figure out who the heck he is. So we go back to the beginning, and, well, according to the rescue reports and according to the EMS reports, and the guy came in there with a backpack and da-da-da-da-da. So we asked the hospital, where's the backpack? Well, we don't know. Where's his work tools? We don't know. Where's his cell phone? Oh, we don't know. We need a cell phone? So, talking to the director of security, they run it down that one of their employees stole the cell phone. They had him on videotape. This is 10 days after the fact. So, normally speaking, 10 days after the fact, that doer is long gone. Anyway, so we're out there. We go out to the neighborhood. We didn't go to the neighborhood because that was at the Home Depot where the old Sears was on the boulevard.
Yeah.
We went over by 5th and Roosevelt Boulevard there.
Okay.
And it was just, that was, most of the day laborers there were Hispanic. That was where the Hispanic day laborers lived, off of 5th Street by Incarnation Parish there. Of course, nobody knew nothing. Nobody saw nothing. Nobody heard nothing. So we just passed the flyers out. And I had a new guy with me. He says, we'll never figure this out. I said, when are you back to work in? Oh, I'm off Sunday, but I'll be back Monday. I said, we'll know who he is by Monday. Sure as shoot, Monday afternoon, the guy's brother comes walking in from Florida with his brother's passport. And
he knew the whole pass out flyers, too.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. And we hung him up. I mean, he had a cell phone. So we went to all the cell phone stores and all the botanicas and all the bars there and,
See, I think the technology makes people, like you said, the DNA, they want it quicker. It's like microwave. They don't want to slow roast anything anymore. They want it quicker. And we have so many cases where they go, okay, we got a ping on the cell phone. It's like, yeah, and you may just find the phone. You may not find a person. It doesn't mean they're together.
Listen, we've had people leave their phones in their cars because they know they're going to be walking on the wild side a little bit, and they don't want their phone getting stolen. If you've got a high-tech phone, it might be worth $1,000 or better.
Right.
And you want to take that when they're out slumming. That you don't.
And you don't want to get broken either if something goes wrong.
Yeah.
The
other thing is that, you don't want your family being able to track where you've been sometimes.
Yeah.
Because, it's easy to track people in them things nowadays.
Anybody can track anybody,
Yeah.
Did you find when there were crimes that, was it more often than not that the crime occurred because it was someone known to the person versus strangers, in-laws before outlaws?
The known doer, the relation, there's always a relation of some sort. Maybe like just a passing relationship. But, your randomness, they were the hardest ones to solve. But, if it was family or friend, quote unquote, friend, they were relatively easy. We used to call them, you call mommy poppies. Mommy does pop, pop does mom, It's 6 of one, a half dozen of another. But, the random ones were much more difficult. Like I said, the guy with the Home Depot thing.
Yeah.
Well, once we knew who he was, when we went over to the Home Depot that day with the flyers, you could watch everybody scatter because they were probably, most of them were illegals.
Mm-hmm.
And, so we went around a block twice to make sure they saw that we were circling them, so to speak. And when we went up, there's a couple of them stayed. The rest of them took off. And you didn't want to deal with a whole bunch of people running away anyway. There's only 2 of us there, It's
not safe.
So we went up and talked to half a dozen of them, and, they okay, here, fellas, see what you can do.
Did you have cases of that you just, was there a case that never got solved that bothers you?
Yeah, there is still one.
There's always one.
There's always one.
What's that case?
Young black girl. We found her on the east side of what's now called Kelly Drive, used to be East River Drive, at the Glendig Rock Garden. There's a rock garden right above Girard Avenue there.
Okay.
It's if you can come down from Girard Avenue, you can drive down.
Other side of the zoo, other side of the tracks.
It's east, on the east side of the river, on the east side of Kelly Drive.
Okay.
And she was found in a pool of water back there. And what I remember to this day is she had sterling silver tennis rackets as earrings.
It's kind of unique.
Especially for a young black girl back then. Because if you think about it back then, black kids didn't play tennis back then.
Right, not as much.
It wasn't a big sport for them. So she had to be an exceptional girl, especially to have those sort of earrings.
Okay.
And we still never got it resolved.
Still don't know who this person is?
Nope.
Give us a description, a rough description of her.
Young black female, 20-ish. That's all I can remember. And she had sterling silver earrings, pierced earrings in both ears that were tennis rackets.
Cause of death?
Probably drugs.
Around what time was this? Like year?
I want to say the early 80s. And, it was just, I could be off. But if anybody, there's a couple websites out there, and I don't remember what they are anymore, that are open to the public.
Right.
That they could actually look up, and she's in there. But, she's somebody thought enough of her, or she thought enough of herself to buy those earrings. They were pretty distinctive.
That's interesting.
And that would sure be nice to figure out who the heck she is, because I'm sure somewhere some parent is upset still to this day. Because I remember going to people's houses and talking to them, and they say, "Well, I always thought this, that, or the other," and they go, "No, it's not that way." And they understand that. You talk to them for a while.
Did you see stupid accidents?
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, I mean, you get the guys that go in to steal copper.
Oh, it's still energized,
and it's all energized.
Yeah.
You get the guys who are doing construction work, and they step over onto a glass skylight that's been tarred over, and they go right through it. I mean, it's a hazard in the fire service. You got something on that's rooftop that's been tarred over for generations, and until you put a 250-pound man up there with equipment, down he goes. There's all sorts of. You see the guy working on the telephones, wires on the street get electrocuted. You see people. It's, a lot of dangerous things out there that people don't give the due regard to.
Well, people have gotten conditioned into being safe, and they've gotten too comfortable. Airbags and batters helmets and everything else, because it's a miracle. Like they just had that tragic accident with a woman on the airplane, but she was the first person to have passed away in years.
I think it said since 2007 or something.
Yeah, it was an amazing amount of time. And meanwhile, people in this country are driving in cars and dying every day. So, we are a lot safer than we've been, but it's given us the freedom to hurt each other more, I think.
And I think we don't want to take responsibility for ourselves.
No.
I mean, like you say, a simple thing like, I have a phobia. I always make sure the elevator's there before I step in the elevator shaft.
Do you ever have to deal with that situation at the job?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's what makes me like just because there's doors open don't mean that elevator's there.
Well, the job must have given you quite a few phobias.
Yeah, well, that's just the one that sticks in my mind,
Yeah.
I mean, but, there's all sorts of things, like you make sure to, silly things that, when you cook and you make sure that the handles are turned in and stuff like that.
So you don't knock the pot over.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, And, it's people don't understand that. That's common sense to us.
Yeah.
But out there on the street, it's like, well, what's the big deal?
I think a lot. I think there's some. I think we overprotect people, and I think there's some value to. I think everybody should burn their finger on the stove because I think it's part of an awareness that you get that the world could be a potentially dangerous place that shocks you.
Oh yeah, I mean, I've been broken, I've been burned, I've been stabbed. The worst injury I ever had was I had major surgery. The worst injury I ever had was being burned.
Yeah. What kind of burn?
Me being stupid, playing in my father's car with a cigarette lighter. It popped off the coil.
Yeah.
And burned my foot. And I never felt anything so horrible in my life.
Steam burns are the worst.
Are they? Okay.
Because it penetrates your clothing. It just goes through.
Okay, you can't get it off.
You can't get it off. You can't shake it. The largest person you've ever had to deal with?
Mm-hmm. Well, I know what the record is in the office. It was like over 700 pounds.
I'm sorry, largest human being.
That was a human being.
Oh, 700 pounds.
Yeah.
What accommodations did they have to make to transport that person? That's not normal.
Yeah, you're right. The fire department did a lot of hard work on that one. Those guys went to town. Well, they couldn't fit through the door, so they had to make the windows a little bit bigger. They got some couple 4x8 sheets of heavy plywood on top of the stretcher and tied him on the best they could and got him out.
I don't think people realize it, and we have this in the ambulance and with the fire department. There are
heavy duty stuff, but it only goes up so high.
Yeah, there's a point. I mean, it's like 500 pounds or something where you're stressing the equipment too much, and not to mention the people doing the lifting.
People getting hurt. If that equipment goes, people are going to get hurt, including the patient.
There's a lot of heavy people that are in their house that haven't been out in years.
Yep.
And then you have some medical emergency.
Yeah. Well, I had a triple homicide one day, and it was over in the 12th floor of whatever housing project it was at the time on 12th Street. And of course, the elevators aren't working, and we wouldn't take them anyway.
Yeah.
So we go up the stairwells, and you get up there, and it was a straight-through apartment. I remember this now because we walk in the first room,